Bullies.
Didn't know I had a grainy face.
Great.
You look studious, so you got that going for you.
Today. But guess what? Dylan hasn't noticed.
What?
Boobs.
Did you draw those?
Like 3 days ago.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to review this book.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one.
Of course, Madeline just has the book sitting next to her.
I mean, do you know what actually
One of us has to.
that I do with my books is I sign them and I date it. You should.
What do you sign?
I sign my name and then I date it. And it's kind of cool because I found books that I read when I was younger from more like teenage years. And I've been doing it ever since then. So then when I reread them, I wrote the new date. So it's just kind of cool to see like years down the road.
Oh, yeah, see when you read them.
Yeah. We finished this one in April of this year, which seems like a long time ago. But I was thinking, well, I added
It
up.
does seem a long time ago.
Yeah. I think we've read like 23 books in book club, I think. But I would say this is like top 2 or 3 for me.
Yeah, I would say it's one of my favorite books I've ever read.
Mm-hmm.
As far as in book club goes, it's my favorite one so far. And probably like in the top somewhere forever, I guess.
Yeah.
What books do you like? What is your favorite book ever? I just have to know.
I don't know.
How are you supposed to answer that like on the fly?
Yeah, I don't know. That was
Gone with the Wind is definitely mine.
There you go. I think mine would probably be The Glass Castle.
I liked. Okay, this is gonna be really stupid. Okay.
Okay.
It's a little kid's book, and I tried to read it. I found it because I owned it, and I tried to read it as like an adult, and I just like couldn't get through it in the sense of like it's like this big.
Mm-hmm.
It's called my grandpa's dragon or something. I think it's a series of some sort. I think there's like 2 or 3 books in it. But it's like I don't remember it real well, but there's like lions and he feeds them bubble gum because he gets stranded on this island and he has this map from his grandfather to find this dragon. And he has to like jump across the alligator. It's a little kid's book. I don't know. I'm gonna find it, and then next book club I'm gonna be like, I don't know. I like more like I don't want to say scary books, but like
John Grisham.
Yeah, I like some of his. Like he's a little too popular for me, but like I don't know, murder.
Okay, duly noted.
Murder.
But I really liked The Red Queen. I really liked God Game. This one I really liked.
God Game was so dark.
We should
So
do
dark.
God Game next. Oh my gosh, that was a freaky ass book.
There's so many things to say about that book.
Okay, but back to the one at hand. Okay, Where the Crawdads Sing. Liz, do a synopsis real quick. Go.
There's a girl, like a feral girl, essentially. She lives with her family for a while. She kind of becomes feral and on her own, and it's just like her life and what she goes through in the marsh, not a swamp. They're different. The first paragraph tells you how different they are. So
it's true. Yeah. And there's a love interest, and then there's a murder.
Yeah, but the love interest is not like the main point of the book. It's like her life and growth. It's not like about a boy.
It's like more like her life story, but the only reason why they're telling it is because there's an issue, like a murder in town of that kid. Like they wouldn't be talking about this if it was somebody else, but of course he's like the football player. And didn't his parents own like, I always want to say GM, but they owned like a motor part store. I don't know. A dealership? I don't know.
His mom was like rich or something.
Yeah, they were wealthy, but they owned like a parts like for cars, or maybe it was bikes, or I don't know, something like that.
He owned a business of some sort. I thought it was weird though, because the guy who died, you find out in like the first like chapter or whatever, right? They like went through it, like it jumps around time-wise, but he was never likable. Like the author never tried to make you like Chase.
Yeah.
He was always like a douche.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever liked him or felt sorry for him during the whole thing.
No, it was like chapter 1 when they were talking about him. I'm like, oh, he's gonna be that guy. That kid from high school, or I don't know, whatever town.
I feel like growing up, like because we're part of like society, obviously, we could notice those red flags of like, oh, he's a douchebag. He's like useless. But like growing up in this marsh by herself, it made a lot of sense why she liked him, or like kind of fell for some of the things he did.
Well, and her dad was kind of a jerk. I mean, he was a jerk. So this guy was better than her dad, which was like the only example she had.
Yeah. I think anybody of that age or like mental age would have fallen for it. I mean, if you think about all your friends in high school, like let's say there's 10 of you, you know, at least 6 of you like hung out with that guy and everybody was like, he's stupid. And you're like, I love him.
Kelly, did you go after Chase Andrews? Did you fall for that?
I don't think so.
She doesn't say
We all
much.
knew a Chase Andrews, but I don't think I ever was like, I don't know. I can't think of anybody in high school that was bad like that, I guess. I can think of that kid, but I don't think I ever really knew him.
I feel like Andrea says otherwise.
I mean, everyone has those like that guy or whatever, but I don't know. It's what you're supposed to do at that mental age, and like when you're in high school, the cheerleader's supposed to date the quarterback and it's supposed to not work out, but they really think they're going to, you know? And then you get older and you're like, what was I thinking? But I don't feel like she ever hit that stage of like, what was I thinking? I think she was just like, oh, didn't work out. He's mean.
Yeah.
I never predicted the end of that book at all. I did not see that coming whatsoever.
That was
That's shocking.
Was it Liz who told us that was the first book this author wrote? Like, I thought it was phenomenal. Like, you couldn't guess what was happening. And it was, like, I thought really intriguing about, like, the biology. I don't know if that was the right word, but learning more about, like, the stuff in the marsh. Like, it was really good writing for her first book.
I wouldn't have guessed that was the first book.
Mm-hmm.
What, Kelly?
I would not have guessed that was the first book for her. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was really well written too. I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah. It was impressive. I think the ending surprised me so much that, because it wasn't just like you couldn't figure it out. It was like also like a twist kind of.
Yeah,
So
I did not see that coming.
Well, like most books, you can be like, oh, it's going to go one of two ways. Here's A, here's B. But I was like, here's A, here's B. But she picked C that I wouldn't have even like, I didn't even like consider that as a route. I was just like, no, that's, even if it was brought up, it wasn't really even, like, I don't think anybody could like pull all of the twists at the end, predicted all of those. Maybe just one, but. No.
Didn't it kind of make you want to go back and read other stuff again too? Because they were like twists that like depended on like small like details that she mentioned, but you didn't think were a big deal like halfway through the book.
I feel like we caught most of them, but I think if we read it again, we'd be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'd still be blind. I'd be like, what? I'm like, are you kidding me?
I think this book was one of the worst ones to read for book club though, because like having to stop at the page limits, it was like almost torture to wait a week and be like, wait, what's gonna happen? Because the chapters are so easy to read. I feel like I could sit down and do it in like 45 minutes and just like read all of the reading for the week.
Well, I think it was this book, wasn't it? We were all done like early every single time.
We added chapters, like we voted to.
Oh yeah.
To the reading.
Is that this book?
Yeah, that was that book.
I think we finished end the last chapters like early too, because remember we get assigned on Sunday, right? We discuss on Sunday and get the new readings. And we had like just to the end of the book. And I think by Tuesday we'd all finished and like actually discussed it.
Yeah. I think we did that a few times. We were like, let's read one more chapter. Okay.
I remember I was getting done, like, I don't know, I got off work at like 4, and I was like sitting outside and I was getting done with readings like that day, like the whole section in one day, which doesn't happen. I'm not lucky enough that way very often, but it was like every time we were all done.
You guys would always like be very mean to me about where I picked to end the chapters.
We were all like, what the hell?
I know, like I like read ahead and planned this out.
Like you did that in
Kelly.
Red too. She would be like, oh, and then he stabbed me in the neck, and we'd all be like, well, who? And you're like, nope, end of reading. And I was like, oh my God. Always ended at the worst parts.
Kelly, which was the one you had in the hospital? Was that Red Queen or was it Crawdads?
Red Queen. It was one of, I don't know if it was the first book, but it was like one of those. Because that was my first round in book club, because I remember I was like, oh, I want to join book club. And someone so kindly informed me that just because I was making a human doesn't mean I got extra time. And book club doesn't stop just because you're in the hospital.
You know what, Kelly? You were late one time with the newborn, and that was it. So that was
And
really
it was the hospital one. Like that was it. It was just the hospital one.
Book club for everything.
Yeah, I guess. We'll see how Courtney does.
Yeah. She has high standards to live up to.
Good.
Well, I would rate this for sure an A.
A.
For sure.
Yeah, me too.
Because I want to reread it. I feel like I need to just kind of see all of the little Easter eggs throughout.
Yeah, the little clues.
Mm-hmm. We should really keep track if she writes another one too.
Of what?
Like if the author writes another book.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a vague statement. I just assumed you knew what was going on in my head.
I had a patient who read The Crawdads, and she was like, oh, if it's like this, you should read like An American Marriage. Have you guys heard of that one?
Mm-mm.
No, she showed me the cover of it. It looked similar, so I'll have to Google it and like see what it's about. But she reads a lot.
Yeah, remember how long it took you to pick your last book, Kel?
Yeah.
Much
Down to the freaking wire on that.
And it turned out so scary, like so scary.
And
I
dark.
gotta tell people that I picked that one.
It was so
Like
dumb.
Madeline did it.
Guys, Brian's home and the dogs are gonna freak out and you're not gonna be able to hear me. So I should get off before this ruins your recording, Madeline.
I guess that's
Any more
fine.
crawdad questions?
Nope, you are free to go.
Thank you. Don't talk bad about me when I sign off either.
Okay. Well, cheers, guys.